Join us on Facebook and YouTube every Saturday at 8 p.m. Christian Love Fellowship. Love never fails.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From wherever you are watching us, we are happy to have you this evening, this Saturday evening. The program is Reflections. My name's Akat. We're from Christian Love Fellowship. Our address, Brøndby Toften 3A in Brøndby. We're in that small town in Copenhagen, and Denmark is the country. How are you? I believe that you're having a nice Saturday. We hope you had a very colorful week. And it's around this time that we bring something interesting while you're seated in your couch, on your kitchen counter. You might be in the train, or whatever you're doing. It's a good time to relax and listen to what happens around, what goes around, and also to listen to a few stories from interesting people. Their journeys, their ups, their lows, their strengths, their weaknesses, things that have been of disappointment, one of those things that are filled with joy. How about that? And as we reflect upon interesting people and their lives and their work, we also hope the one day will be reflecting on you. So sit down and listen to this. And I believe you're going to be encouraged with the guest we have today. So in the studio today, I'm not alone, but I'm with a very wonderful young man, a gentleman, that I'm going to ask to introduce himself to you. Sir, you're welcome.
Hello, Pastor. Thank you. My name is Tristan. I'm coming from the small island of
Bermuda.
Yes, Canton, to be exact. I am 29 years old, and I have been living in Denmark for 5.5 years.
5.5 years.
Yes.
Welcome to Denmark. And so you come to Denmark 5 years ago.
Yes,
What brings you to Denmark?
I got an opportunity to play football, and I was playing in America at the time.
Where?
I used in Florida.
In Florida.
They have a certain league for people who are trying to go to the next level,
Okay.
and I was playing in that league, and there were some teams that were over there, and this team in Denmark happened to be there at the time.
Yep.
They liked how I played, so they asked me, do I want to come to Denmark and play for their team?
So hold on. Are your parents there?
Yes, my
Yes.
parents are there.
They live in the Bermuda. How many are you in your family?
My immediate family, or
Yes, immediate family.
okay, it's just my parents, mom and dad, and my brother. So
What does
just
your
the
mom
four.
and dad do?
My mom has a shop, actually, a sports store,
Okay.
for football and cricket. Cricket's big in my island as well.
Okay.
And my dad, he works with telephones or Wi-Fi installation. So
Okay. So tell me a little about your growing up, childhood.
me, I love Bermuda, still love it.
Yeah.
It was a very fun time to grow up on the island.
Yep.
I grew up in a Christian household.
Okay.
I actually went to school or a Christian school from maybe 3rd grade until the 11th grade. And then I got an opportunity to travel away and play football for a school abroad. So
Okay. So that, to my understanding, is like from the before you came here, you were in the United States
yes,
playing for a school.
yes,
Okay. So a club buys you
yes.
from Denmark.
Yeah.
How have you found Denmark?
Ups and downs, different challenges. It's a very different society from back home, and then also my experiences in America as well. So taking it day by day.
What do you miss most in the Bermuda?
The weather,
The
and then
weather.
also the food too.
What
Yeah.
food is that?
We have a mix. So Caribbean food, you think of oxtail, rice and peas, different vegetables. Then we also have a mix from America, so macaroni and cheese, barbecue chicken, and then also some influence from the UK. So we have a lot of potatoes and then fish mixed with the potatoes. So it's quite a variety, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what don't you like about Denmark?
I don't know. For me, I think the people, not everyone, of course, but to a certain degree, they're not as friendly as when I grew up in Bermuda. It's a very small country, so as you say, we know of a lot of people back home. And then, for example, if I were to go into a bus,
Yep.
it's quite normal for us to say good afternoon to the people on the bus. We don't know them very closely or
But
anything.
kind of, yeah.
yeah. So it's just very different from back home. So
What was the biggest shock that you got when you came to Denmark?
how reserved some people can be. It's not as friendly, and then also the weather. It was a big challenge for me when playing in 0-degree weather. That was something quite new for me. So
How long were you in the United States before you traveled to Denmark?
the total, it was 6 years, I think, because I was in high school for my last year to finish off the 12th grade, and then I graduated and went to college,
Yeah.
and then I spent 5 years in college over there. In America, they do 4 years as opposed to in Denmark, it's 3. And I switched my majors, so then I had to stay 1 extra year to finish off.
What
the
did you
classes.
study?
I studied business administration and marketing.
Okay. Have you tried to apply that in Denmark?
Yes, but I don't really speak the language very well,
So
so it's hard for me to get the jobs because, of course, I speak English, but then
most of the time they need.
both dual language, like Danish and then as well as English. But I'm gonna go back to school over here, so I think that's gonna help me too.
And you're going to be doing your course in English or Danish?
English, yeah. But I'm also taking Danish classes now.
Oh,
so.
so it's possible to do university in Denmark in English?
Yeah. They have many courses where you can do in English.
Because many people out there don't believe that you could do. Come on, you that are watching me, you need to know that it's possible to take on a course in English. It's possible.
Yeah, yeah.
University.
Yeah, I actually applied to 3 different universities,
Yep.
and each of them had many courses that were in English. So I'll be going to Roskilde University and doing business and leadership in English. So it's possible. Yeah.
Now, I want to know, what has been your worst moment in Denmark? What's that you regret most?
That I regret.
Yeah, and you say, oh, damn, this is damn.
There was a moment on the football field, I guess, where I lost my cool and ended up getting a red card.
What did you do? You fought.
Yes. So that wasn't the best. And afterwards, I apologized to everyone, and yeah, I felt bad afterwards because then I had to miss a game. We went down to 10 men, and yeah, it was.
Your team lost.
No, we won. Actually, we fought very well, but I just felt bad because it's not good to set that example.
Do you get paid playing football in Denmark? Is
Not
it paid?
anymore. I did before when I was playing at a higher level, but
Yeah.
now I play with the Ugandan Cranes. So
Yeah.
come out and support if you can.
Yeah.
And we are in, I can't remember the exact league, but it's a different level now.
So you just tell me about a little about the football in Denmark. Tell me about the different levels of football in Denmark.
Of course, you have the Superliga, the first division, second division, and then it goes down from there. I was playing in the second division
How many divisions down?
that I'm playing right now.
No. Superliga,
Oh,
first league, second league,
Second.
and then
then they have a league that's called Denmark Serie, and then after that they have Serie 1, 2, 3, 4, and down, I think to 8.
where is Ugandan Cranes now?
In Serie 3. Yeah, but we're making our way up. We won our last 2 games. We have a game today. I'm injured, so I can't play, but we're gonna support today.
So it's hard to go up there.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me how you find Danish football in comparison to the American football and so on. How you find it economically, socially? How do you find it? Technically, yeah.
Economically, it depends on the team that you're on.
Yep.
Because some teams get more funding as opposed to other teams.
Yes.
So if you play in the first division, which is the league that's right under the Superliga, you can earn. It's professional.
Yep.
And then in the league that I was in, some clubs they do get a professional economy, just because they have many sponsorships from that area that they're in.
Yeah.
But others, they don't have as much economy because maybe the community doesn't believe in the team as much as another part of Denmark or another team that's in that society or that community. So the economy that I was in, it was okay, but I had a job on the side as well. But the skill, I think they are skilled to a certain degree, but there are some players, for example, if they're half Ugandan, half Danish, they might have more skill than the pure Danish people. If they're maybe half Turkish, half Danish, of course, there's going to be more technical skills than the full Danish. Not every time.
What attributes, what attributions bring that out, that if probably someone is of a mixed, you have maybe Turkish or Danish, you are likely to be more skilled than.
And when I say skilled, I mean in terms of the flair that some players have. So if you think of Brazil, they're very tricky, and
Sure.
they have a lot of tricks that they might use on the field. But I think it's maybe the upbringing. There's for some Danish clubs, they're very strict of how they want their players to play. So it's a system that they want each member to
learn.
Yeah, exactly. But then if you, for example, I grew up in Bermuda, there isn't much system, but there's a lot of skillful players that have the freedom to
Do express whatever.
Exactly. So I think that's a difference in terms of.
Do you think there's a bit of a limitation to different people that are not purely Danish?
In terms of opportunities.
In terms of opportunities, yeah.
I think so. Of course, they're going to, not every time, but they may want their purely Danish players to go up to the next level. For me, it was actually hard to get into the team. Each coach is going to have their set players that they would like to start each game and that they trust the most. So it's just a matter of building the trust, but they might not trust the outside players as much because they haven't learned the systems, the Danish systems from when they were young.
We do all this. Because
at
I mean,
times, but-
I've attended. I think I've attended some football matches. I've watched them play. I mean, in different major tournaments, and well, you support it because you live in Denmark. But I mean, you wouldn't like. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's
They're rigid.
yeah,
in a way,
yeah, yes. How did you go around that?
I mean, I'm a defender, so I don't need so much flair, but I was able to show my ability whenever I needed it. So if I need to use some skill, then I would do it, but then I have to have the discipline to remain in the system. So I think it's a bit easier since I'm a defender to just play the system.
Don't you think that limits on how far the Danish team would go in football?
No. And there are skillful, like, pure Danish people. It's not
True,
that they're
true,
not,
true,
but
yeah.
I just mean that when I got into my team, there was not as many skillful pure Danes in that team. They might be fast, they have their attributes that are better than others, but just from my understanding and just the experiences that I've gone through, I've seen that the half Danish, half Turkish, they have more skill than the pure Danish.
Is there any? Do you ever foresee an opportunity? Definitely. Look at a country like France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, England, that allows that the team is more colored. You know what I mean? Eh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not dominated by only one race of people. I mean, there are all these different. Who may happen to be? You are Triton. Triton is from Bermuda, but you've gotten yourself a Danish passport.
No, I don't.
No. I'm giving an
Oh,
example.
in the field. Okay, yeah.
In case you've gotten a Danish passport right now, and because I sometimes feel personal. I don't know if it's my own opinion that the Danish teams. I mean, it's purely Danish. It lacks the color. If you look at teams like the English team, you find many different people, different books, but as long as they do have the nationality and they're citizens in that country, they're allowed to play.
Yeah.
Did you feel there's kind of a limitation, a big limitation to that? Keep it real.
Yeah, I do think so. But also, I think the Danish teams, they're pretty strong. but I think there is a limitation because, as you can see, France just, they're doing their thing with many foreign players that have the French passport.
Yes.
And then, of course, if you think about Germany, they have many players that have the German passport, but they have parents from elsewhere. And
Yeah.
they may have been born in another country, then came over. So I think that is, to a certain degree, a limitation, that they don't have more a mixed background in a sense.
How would you advise someone who is hoping to come and be a professional footballer in Denmark? Someone watching out there, they have that desire, deep desire to play football, they're skilled, they've been playing football in their countries, and they come here and they have, I really want to make it. I do believe you had a dream to go fight football. Yeah.
Yeah. You asked what I would recommend to them, or
What would you tell? What would you tell them?
um,
Would this be a place you'd advise them to come to?
I think it has a lot of opportunities. If you go into the first division, there are many opportunities for you to maybe even travel abroad, because there is a lot of people who look at the Danish leagues because they have many good players.
Yep.
But I would advise that they just come in. It sounds a bit cliche, but work very hard and stay true to their self in terms of maintain the skills that attracted the club to bring them in, and just fight, basically.
What would you do to you doing everything you can and you later not brought close? You bring the skill, you're willing to learn everything, you keep yourself in shape, but there comes in this probably the person making choice, or the coaches are rigid and you feel you're excluded. What would you do?
You're gonna get an opportunity to play on the second team, because they want their players to develop, so they may send them to the second team. But if you do well in the second team,
Yeah.
it would allow you to get an opportunity to go and play on the first team. And then once you get that opportunity to play in the first team, it's best you have to take your chance. Do the best you can, show the fans that you're working hard. If you have a chance to score, of course, keep your composure, don't get too excited about the opportunity, but hard work.
Because look here, Triton. I mean, I've known many young kids that have been involved in Danish clubs, and there's too much frustration. Too
True.
much frustration. I mean, you look at these kids that have a lot of opportunity, not only opportunity, have skill, have the talent, but there's some kind of rigidity. I mean, it's not the first time I'm hearing this. I've experienced it, I've seen it, I've heard it. I've had many young kids coming up and they're like, I tried my best, I gave it my best, but I got so frustrated.
I mean, in the Danish, it's kind of similar to the Danish society. It's hard to get incorporated into Danish groups of people. They have their cliques that they like to stay in, and it's the same on the football field. They know the people in the club, and if someone comes in, it's going to be hard to incorporate them in. But I would just say, it sounds cliche, but honestly, you just have to stick to the wicket. It's an expression of maintain the discipline that you've had to get you there, and then keep pushing forward, basically. It's not easy, though. There's
Are
going
you
to be
satisfied
challenges.
with the level you reached in football?
No, but I think injury played a part in that, and then also the happiness. I wasn't very happy over here, so
You weren't very happy in the country.
no, and then also on the team that I was on. So
Why weren't you happy?
I felt very excluded from things. Of course, they included me in there, but they had their cliques, so they had the people that they would always hang around. So just felt like I was the foreigner who they said hi to and was very friendly to, but it wasn't as if I was here with the rest of the Danes. I was very separated. I felt this, at least.
Yeah, and it's exactly that's what I've been trying to say. I've been trying, because this goes into very many areas. The education sector, sports, and many. Recently, I think it must have been 4 or 5 years ago, where we lost a very wonderful young man. This young man actually happened to be my brother-in-law, who passed on out of frustration. He took his life. He was like tried to write lots of scripts. He really tried, did the best he could, tried to include himself, but they'll give him all those parts like parts that don't carry a lot of weight. Just be a passenger standing by, just be someone walking by, just be someone. He wrote scripts, to write songs, and all the things always trashed him and that frustration. Look, he didn't know anyone. I mean, of course, he has family here, but these are people that are brought up here. So if you tell them to take them back home, there's not much they know. All they know is here. And where they know who they know, they're not fully accepted.
Yeah.
So that frustration affects them. And I think this is one thing that has brought things like drugs, some people getting involved into drugs, getting involved into different activities, or living a life that is not so fulfilled.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not the best. And honestly, for me, I just kind of accepted just being alone, which isn't the best because we as humans, we like to interact with
Sure,
people.
we're social beings.
And then also in terms of growing up in Bermuda, we're always friendly amongst each other, so it was a big transition. But after a while, I just said, I don't care anymore. I'm not trying to be friends with you. I'm just trying to do my best on the field and then go about my business. But I don't feel as if that's the best way to live, to be honest.
True,
So,
true. Are you happy with the Ugandan Cranes at least?
yes, they're very welcoming, that's for sure. Yeah. And I like the style of play too. So
You like the style of play,
Yeah.
so they really. Don't you think there are many skilled people there?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. There are many skilled people, but they fail to penetrate and break through.
Yeah.
If I think there was a system that would have made it easier for them, it would be good.
Mm.
Wow. So tell me about your education.
Yeah. Went to or spent most of my education in Bermuda. And then I got the opportunity to travel and finish off my last year of high school in the States.
Yeah.
After the States, or after that high school graduation, I went to study in another part of Florida for college or university. And then now I'm going to start my education at Roskilde University to finish off the master's degree. So,
And what are your plans? You hope to stay in Denmark?
for a few years, but I recently lost a close friend of mine.
Sorry.
Appreciate you. And I just didn't want to be around the society, being alone. So I think after my studies, I might try and work for a period of time, maybe a few years, and then I would head to another country. I think I would go over to England with my brother.
All right. Now, Reflections is a program, and I have Triton in the studio, and I believe all of you are enjoying what you're listening to and his interesting story. We've gone a little deep into few challenges that are encountered by people, all different walks of life as they try to penetrate the society here. Challenges that are happening, but we have to live. So we are taking a break. The program is Reflections, and we're coming back very pretty soon. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Reflections. We have Triton in the studio and a very wonderful brother, a Christian, a man who loves God, loves what he does, very jolly face, very jolly person by heart. And we're listening to one interesting story that things he's had to go through while in Denmark and where he is right now. We come back, Triton. So, just as we took the break, you told me about your education and you feel you want to leave, you work for a little time and probably go and join your brother in the UK.
Yeah.
What's your brother doing in the UK?
He's actually playing football.
He's
at,
playing for which team?
It's not in the Premier League or the Championship, but it's I think in maybe the six league,
Yeah.
which may not seem like much, but in the English league, or English football system, it's a high level. So he actually has many fans coming out each time. He gets paid well over there as well, and he's having a good time. So.
Don't you think? Did you want to join him as a football player or?
No, I'm 29 now, and in terms of football age, I think I'm kind of old. So I would try and play because I still have passion for the game, but not at the same level that he's at, just because of age. And then also the clubs over there, they don't want to invest in an older player because he may get injuries or, yeah.
But in the Ugandan Cranes, we have all these players that are
Seasoned veterans. Yes. The veterans.
players that are playing. They were above 40 and they're playing and doing good. And
Yeah, we won our last game 3-0. So again, come on.
And what advice would you give a parent? Okay, this will need many footballers here. What advice will you give a parent that has got a child interested in football, but the child is facing this segregation?
That's hard because I'm not a parent myself. Of course, I was a player, so I can give the player's perspective.
Yes.
But I would initially take the first step as to ask the coach, what can he do to either get into the squad? Does he need to improve on his speed, his passing ability, or what can he do? Because he's not playing right now. I would like to see my son play or daughter play, if you have a daughter that plays football or another sport. And then just see what he can do and see if they're actually going to try and help him or her grow, and then go from there. But if you see that they're not looking to make that person or that child a better player, then either take them to another team or, I don't know, make a scene in a sense.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not fun for, you're trying to develop the kid to be a better player, but also a good person as well. And having sports is a good way to develop them. So you want to be able to get out there and play.
What
So
advantages are there in sports apart from, of course, the fame and everything? What else do you feel as an advantage
I
to
would
a young player, a very young kid?
I would say opportunities. So
Okay.
for me, I was an okay student in terms of education,
Yeah.
but I think sports took me to another level because of my ability on the field. So I was able to go to private schools that in America it costs a lot of money, but I was able to get a football scholarship. So that cut the prices down by quite a lot.
Okay.
So travel, opportunities with education maybe, good experiences, because when I was playing in college and then also in the high school and then on the teams over here, we would go on nice buses to travel long distances and play another team, and then we would, I don't know, maybe stay in a hotel, have team dinners, banquets. There's a lot that goes with it. I wasn't into the fame, so I didn't like the camera or anything like that. So yeah, there's just many opportunities that you could get.
You're a Christian.
Yes.
You love God.
Yes.
What do you think about Christianity?
In terms of what?
Just what do you think about Christianity?
I think it's a, I guess the word that comes to mind is beautiful, because there's a lot of love that goes on in the church,
Yeah.
between the members of the church and then also the fellow believers. They're just trying to grow their relationship with God and become good people.
Yeah.
and be good examples of Christians. So I
How
think
is Christianity in Bermuda?
I think it would be considered the main religion there,
Yes.
and then afterwards maybe the Muslim beliefs and then Hinduism from there. But it's very big, and then we have many different denominations of
Yes.
Christianity as well. So for me, for example, I actually started my spiritual journey as I think it was called a Protestant,
Yeah,
and
Protestant,
then
yeah.
after that I went into the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Yes.
And actually I have many friends who are in
Yeah.
the Seventh-day Adventist belief. And yeah, but it was just a nice journey, I guess I can say.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And how do you find Christianity in Denmark when you came here?
To be honest, I mean, of course they had the churches, and maybe they talk about it briefly, but I thought it was non-existent. I think that there's many, what's the word, atheists,
Yes.
or people who don't even believe anymore, or they believe in maybe a higher power but not in God. So I feel as if, well, kind of around the world it seems as if it's going like that. There are maybe the parents might have been true Christians and believers, but then they didn't instill it in their children, so then they stop believing, and then the next generation after those kids don't believe, and then it just goes like that. So I feel as if there's many atheists and people who don't believe anymore.
Are your parents practicing Christians?
Yes.
Did they used to take you to church?
Yes, and then also my grandparents, they were quite into the church, so on weekends, let's say, I don't know, my parents would like a break, not from us, of course they loved us, but they would take us to our grandparents' house. We would stay over there and then go to church and Sunday school the next morning, and then we would go back home after that.
What's the most you do in church? When you
Uh,
attend, you in the choir, usher?
Actually, I mean, in my school,
Yes.
we weren't forced, but it was mandatory that we join either the choir or the band. So I actually spent a few years in the band and then also in the choir. But I have many friends who they're like really good at singing. They're to a degree that they are professionals now. So I didn't feel comfortable singing around them.
Why? Are you shy?
To a certain degree, yeah. I prefer to stay in the background. I'll be a background singer. you
What
know?
else? Okay, what else do you do in the church? You told you were in the band. What were you doing in the band?
In the band, I played the drums briefly, and then I also was on the trumpet for a little while, but
Okay.
I didn't learn it so well.
What about the drums? You learned?
Yeah, because I actually ended up taking classes in that, or on Saturdays I would go to see an instructor, and then they would teach me briefly. But I only did that for a few months because it was interfering with the football, and I felt that I had more friends playing football, and I just wanted to be out there kicking a ball instead of.
If you were
learning
given an
notes.
opportunity to play drums, do you think you can play drums?
No. I could try, and maybe I can hold a beat for a little while, but
Yeah.
yeah, it might be bad for the choir if I was to play the drum.
Okay. And
Yeah.
when you went to the States, were you still a practicing Christian? Even as you played football?
Yes.
It's been a while you haven't been going to church.
Yeah, to be honest. And it's not because I didn't want to, but
Bad boy, bad boy.
it's
bad
true.
boy. Bad boy.
Yeah.
Bad boy. Yeah. But now you've
I want to start that journey again.
Yes.
I was thinking, so as I said, I lost a friend recently, and
what
it
happened?
just
Sorry to take you to that. What really happened to your friend?
he got hit by a car, and then he got hit by a car, and then that happened.
So,
No worries. But yes, so that actually brought me to the just realization that life is very short. Of course, I've lost other friends and relatives before, so but this one hit closer to home because I spent much of my childhood with this friend. I actually ended up going to college with him as well. So he recently had a child as well. I think the child's maybe
he was in Bermuda.
I think the child's maybe 5 months. So he's a godson. He's my godson actually.
Okay.
So it would just hit closer to home. So that brought me to want to develop a closer relationship with God again. Not because of a fear of death, but just because, it's just nice to feel loved, and you just get a different feeling when you're in the church and just learning about God, at least for me.
What's your favorite food?
Foot? Right foot, of course. That's my strong. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant football.
Food.
That's hard for me because I like to travel, and then, as I said, with football, I've been able to travel, so I've been able to try many different kinds of food.
Yes.
So I've been to Italy, of course, pasta, pizza, these kind of things. But I like, I would say, Caribbean food. So there's this one dish that I like. It's maybe simple or whatever. Oxtail gravy, oxtails, and then rice and peas and some vegetables on the side. Sounds simple, but recommend it. I recommend it.
No. That's too. That's too. Many people. This was what they call it, the Jamaican jack.
Yes.
It's rice that is just.
Yeah. Don't get me started, Pastor. Missing it.
Yeah. Okay. What are the worst moments in your life? Moments you feel this was my worst.
In terms of my performances,
Whatever it is in life.
I would say my friend recently, and then I would also say that's a tough one.
Girlfriend letting
trying-
you down?
Huh?
Your girlfriend letting you down?
No, I kind of yes. Yes, but also in terms of football,
Yeah.
of course I got injured, but I could have. So in America, there are different levels in terms of the education system with football. So if you go to a Division 1 school, that's the same as maybe the Superliga. If you go to Division 2, it's First Division, and then so on from there. I went to a Division 2 school, but if I studied harder, I would have been able to go to Division 1 school because I had the opportunities. And another reason that it could be good for kids to try out sports is schools look for you. So if they think that you can be an addition to their squad, they will actually fly you to that school to try and sell you on why you should come to our school. So after high school, or at the closing periods of high school, when it's close to graduation, you'll get many offers. So for me, for example, I got a few offers from Division 1 schools, but because I didn't apply, and it's called student athlete, so because I didn't apply myself as much as I should have in the school section, it affected me being able to go to Division 1 school. So I guess I would say I wish I would have did that better, because then the opportunities could have been bigger. Maybe a draft, going into the MLS draft, or opportunities over here in the First Division and Superliga. It's really, it would have just opened up different doors. But maybe it just wasn't my time. Maybe God had different plans. So.
Okay, now putting that aside. Okay, now what of I asked you something that's of interest.
What did you ask?
Girlfriend letting you down.
Okay.
You're a famous person. You play football.
Me?
Strong. Yeah,
Famous?
I mean everybody sees you. Girls are shouting, yeah,
Me?
on the
No,
pitch,
I don't know
when
about
you're
that.
defending, you do that, and then so I believe there are many that run to you. So how did you?
Maybe. Maybe a little bit. I
How
don't
did
know.
you? How did you do that? First of all, a girlfriend has let you down before,
Yes.
and how did you feel about it?
It's not a good feeling. No one wants to be let down, especially by someone that they consider a significant other.
Was it in
It's not
Denmark
fun.
or in America? Or?
In America, yes. So it wasn't fun. Let's just say that. Yes. Need more details?
Because some of the things that really affect us in our walk in
Yeah.
life are sad things. There's some moments in life that sometimes walking out of them is so hard. I looked at an image yesterday of someone showing two figures, human figures, one walking, both walking opposite directions, but their souls are still attached to each other.
Yeah.
And the caption up was like, I left you, but I've never moved on.
Oh no, I've moved on. for
You've
sure.
moved on.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't
because-
regret it.
No,
You don't regret anymore.
no, not at all.
What have been
Because
the greatest moments in your life?
being able to travel with football,
Yes.
being a godfather, and
Yes.
then graduating college or
Those are
university.
Great moments. I'll ask you the worst. What are the things you regret most?
That was the not studying hard enough
Yeah.
for the Division 1 level, and yeah, I think that could be the main one that sticks in my head in terms of not studying hard enough. Could have changed life, or could have changed my life and the direction.
I want you to give us a few last remarks to young men like you, the many young men, 29, 20, 27, 26, 25. They are living a bit of confused lives, walked away from God, frustration has caused them to walk away from God, or even other things of interest like football and so on have caused them to find little place to relate with God. How would you talk to such people?
In terms of giving them hope or guidance,
Giving them hope and telling them, why did you come back to God? Is it possible to play football and still yet come to church?
I would try and, of course, it's gonna be a peaceful approach, anyways. But just try and, I guess, nudge them to try and come to church more. In a sense that you're gonna come to church with me this weekend. I'm going. You could come with me, or
Is it needful? Do you think young men need God?
I think so. I mean, I think we all need God, to be honest. It's just that guidance that comes with being a Christian. And then also coming to church. Of course, you can study on your own and read the Bible, but then yourself being the pastor, you have dedicated years of your life to learn about the Bible and then about God, so you can give me a different perspective on a verse that I've read or a chapter that I've read. So this is why I would like to start my journey coming back to church again.
What have been the positive impacts of you having walked with God in your life? What do you say? If it wasn't God, if I didn't know about God, if I didn't have a praying mother, father, grandmother, or if I didn't have a childhood that was that I used to go to church, enriched with Christianity, I would have made these mistakes. Has it controlled your morals in one way?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's caused me to be a good person, I guess you can say,
Yeah.
in a sense of just being empathetic, being understanding, but also if I didn't have God in my life, I think I would have went down the wrong path, because I've actually had many friends throughout the years who maybe started to sell drugs or get into violence, and they would be on the same football team as me. They would be the nicest of guys, but just because of the lack of knowledge maybe about God, or even the opportunities that occurred in their life, they just went down the wrong path. So I think that I was just blessed and fortunate to have that relationship with God from my parents, and then also my grandparents, and then I have a big family. Not immediate, but my extended family with cousins, and I have a big family. And my dad is the youngest of 5 brothers, so I actually have cousins who are maybe first cousins who are maybe like, they could be my parents. They're like 45, 50, and they have kids. So, yeah, it's a big family, but they were a big support in my upbringing, and then also with my relationship with God, and these kind of things. They used to come to the same church. So
Do you do drugs?
no,
You smoke?
no,
You drink?
occasionally. A glass of wine,
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least you're quite a clean, stable person.
Yeah, try to be,
sober.
because I think it's also unhealthy.
Do you sleep around?
No, I don't think that's good, because it's kind of a loss. Not a loss in that person, but maybe a lost person would just be sleeping around trying to find themselves in those other people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Wow, what a wonderful, wonderful interview and very encouraging words from a young gentleman, just 29 years of age. Tristan is the name. And He's a member of Christian Love Fellowship now, and he's starting his spiritual journey once again. And young man, I want to let you know that that's a great choice you've made. A great choice you've made. And today, in the sermon, you walked in late, but I was saying it's hard to find young men still believe in God. Many want to give up. Many are too proud. So, but a man that can break himself before God can stand before people. And we are very glad to have you.
Thank you.
Be encouraged. We shall love you. We shall love you the best way we can. And whenever you see we are failing in our love, just know they are trying their best.
Yes.
But we will love you. Very nice to have you. And
Thank you very much.
we want to thank our viewers and you that have been watching. Hope you've had a very nice time with Mr. Tristan. We hope we shall be having you next Saturday, and may the good Lord bless you. Kwaheri, as the program is still Reflections. Bye bye.